All right, we're back. We're going to be covering the NFC, the National Football Conference. We're going to be starting here with the NFC East, probably everyone's least favorite division.
Definitely mine.
I believe it's Kendall's turn. Would you like to take the first on this one? Who do you like?
Let's look at here. We
For
got
the division.
Well, Dallas is doing fair this year. I can say so far. They've had a couple close calls. I'm not going to knock them for anything, but, I mean, that game we just played against New Orleans, just for getting field goals, that was a pretty close run there. That's going to show the season on them.
Yeah, and it was in New Orleans, and as we all know, it's hard to beat a team at home. But I have to admit, though, slightly disappointed. Cowboys were the only ones that got a touchdown in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The only reason that New Orleans won is because they got that last field goal.
Yeah.
So
they're on point with field goals, I can say, definitely.
Definitely a defensive battle, very, very much reminiscent of the same game that they had last year. I'd have to agree. I like it's the Cowboys to lose right now. Eagles don't look like they do the last year or the year before when they went to the Super Bowl and won it. So I'm gonna stick with the Cowboys until I see more as the season progresses.
Are the Eagles still hungry?
That might be a factor. What do you got, John?
I say the wild card, Josh Daniels in New York.
Really?
I'm gonna say the wild card.
Wow, you're gonna go. That's on a limb.
The reason, yeah, I'm going out on them. The reason I can never pick the Dallas Cowboys to win anything. Sorry, that ain't happening. And the only time I root for the Cowboys.
Well, what about Philly? I mean, because even though Philly isn't the same Philly that we've seen,
and that's the problem I have with Philly. I don't think they're hungry enough again. I don't think that's in them. And Wentz is too up and down right now. So
and
week 9 it might change, but as of right now, it's a 3-1, 2-2, 2-2, 0-4. 0-4 we don't even have to discuss. We already discussed them earlier.
We know who when it comes to that.
But New York is a surprise team, and I love an underdog, and I think this kid got what it takes. He's been preached up, he's been raised and taught by the Mannings. So therefore, I'm gonna give him. That's the main reason why I'm giving him the shot, because I think it's his time. I think he's ready, and it just seems like Dallas is just waiting to fall apart.
Well, and as I've stated, it's Dallas's to lose right now. In order for Philly to even take it, they got to get the sweep against Dallas
and the Giants.
And the Giants. Giants with this new kid, Daniel Jones, looking good. I'm looking forward to seeing what he gives us up until halfway point, and then we can actually see, maybe even make an assessment of what they've got left on the schedule to whether they have a chance or not.
At least a wild card. At least a wild card.
And that's definitely a prospect, but I don't want to get into the wild cards until we get to the half season mark. Because at least then the playoff picture is a little bit more
clear. It's a little clear.
Yeah. All right, so that settles it for the NFC East. Let's go to NFC North. Chuck?
NFC North, I got Detroit.
Wow. You were with me earlier this season saying Chicago, but
yes, I was. But then with Trubinsky going down and Chase Daniel knows the offense, granted, but I think Detroit is the better complete team, because with Minnesota quarterback Cousins is not what he
I agree.
what his paycheck says is not what he is.
Even when he was with Washington, Cousins was a little.
Chicago,
he was not consistent.
Chicago's offense is not. It takes a while for it to get humming, and I think Green Bay had the luck of the draw at the first 3 games that they won. I think
they're struggling with that new offense.
I think what it is Rodgers is not meshing well with LaFleur. Like he's meshing to a point, but I think when it comes to, like, let's say when the play calling breaks down, he's so because of whatever exchange between him and the owner had with the new coach. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm trying to break out, but at the same time, I'm trying to stay within the new rules I have, and that's what you saw in that last game. Because Aaron Rodgers could have easily ran one in. Aaron Rodgers could have easily did something else, but he stuck to the playbook. He stuck to the play call.
Well, I'd say to a point, because I did see some of the same old Aaron Rodgers oh, nothing's open, I'll throw it away.
Yeah.
And that was the detriment because I know at least one play, and I think you said 2 plays.
It was 2 plays.
The check down was available. Yeah. And I'm sorry. When you're that right there, check down, that's 6 yards. So I mean,
3rd and 4th is better than 3rd and 4th is better than 3rd and 10.
Exactly. So I think that he needs. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is all in on this offense.
Yeah, that's what.
And unfortunately, he doesn't have the weapons that he's used to.
Yes.
Can they get something going? I think they can, but it means that Aaron Rodgers is going to have to be a little bit more humble than he has been. I don't see it happening, but we'll definitely see how it plays out.
I honestly believe they can make some trades to get him some weapons, though.
Well, they could.
Really do.
I really do.
Either that or they're going to take this season. They're taking this season off. Whatever they get.
No, they're not taking. But it is definitely rebuilding, and we have to figure out Matt LaFleur doesn't want to do too much stuff, and it depends on what they got, available too. Yeah. They may not have cap space.
Well, they may not have cap space to make trades, but if they do, I would make some trades and give up some of the draft picks because they don't have a running back right now.
Wait, hold on. Aaron Jones is a good running back.
Aaron Jones is hurt.
Who was playing last game?
No, it wasn't. He got hurt in the game.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is what they have now is because remember Aaron Rodgers had less than what he has now. Because remember he only had Devontae Adams. Jordan Nelson was hurt.
Yep.
They had nobody. They traded the tight end. Jimmy Graham was traded to Seattle or whatever. Yeah. However that played out. He only had one. He always only had one right receiver.
Actually, no. Jimmy Graham is there.
No, he's there now. He's there now, but he wasn't there. Okay,
last year.
I meant the.
But I'm saying, but if you go back, if you go back to his progression with wide receivers, though, he's had a plethora of good wide receivers, 3 or 4 of them on the field at the same time.
Let's also keep one thing.
Offense. When Brett Favre left, he inherited Donald Driver. He inherited Greg Jennings. He inherited those receivers. He inherited that.
He inherited Cobb. Cobb came after.
Right.
And so did Jordan.
So did Jordan Nelson. So did Jermichael Finley. All these guys came after, and he had weapons all around him.
Even with Jermichael Finley, they had a problem. Even Jermichael Finley and Brandon Rodgers said in interviews, they had problems. They didn't mesh well. That's why he didn't play out. That's when he went somewhere else and flourish somewhere else.
But the thing about it,
I would like to interject one thing, and I think we both can agree. There were some definite, he hit the guy's hands.
Yeah.
The one in Jimmy Graham back in the end zone, that could have been caught.
Yeah.
So there were some definite key drops there. That's why I think, can they get something going? I think they can. But
they're going to have to sharpen their pencil highly.
But because they
got to get on the same page.
I don't know if if they got lucky or not, because that first game against Chicago was a defensive battle. But then they went on to beat Minnesota, which was a solid game.
Mm-hmm.
Denver was a give me, and then they got hit in the mouth by Philly.
Yeah.
So, that was still a close game. So we're gonna see what Green Bay's made of, because they got Dallas, Detroit, and then Kansas City in Week 8. Oakland should be an easy win for them. And so those 4 games right there, we're going to see what Green Bay's made of.
I just
don't see Aaron Rodgers buying into the playbook. I don't, because you saw it in the last game when the play broke down. Mm-hmm. He did Aaron Rodgers-like stuff. The tight end, Jimmy Graham. Now that was all his fault. Every pass was his fault. Aaron Rodgers put it on him. He was trying to do the one-hand thing. Instead of putting both hands on the ball.
Exactly.
He would have came down with it. He tried to do this number here. Mm-hmm. No, it's not gonna work.
Well, you picked Detroit. I'm gonna have to go with Chicago. The reason I'm gonna go with Chicago, whether the offense starts out slowly or not, that defense is stopping everybody. So if you can't score on us, you can't win. They're getting pick sixes and everything. So defenses, like I said earlier, defenses do win championships. Your offense has to put up points.
Yeah.
The offense will come along, but as long as that defense stay healthy and play the way they're playing, it's theirs to lose.
Unfortunately, we won't really know how this plays out, because, look, Detroit's got a very solid defense.
Yeah.
Obviously, Matt Patricia finally figured out what he wants and how to work it this year, because they couldn't stop anybody last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they're actually stopping people.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I think the key to this division will be Detroit, Chicago, and Detroit, Green Bay coming up here later on in the season.
So those 3 games right there says this is when somebody takes control of this division.
Exactly, and I think we'll see that probably week 9 or 10, whenever that is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I still like Chicago, even with the hurt. Chase Daniels didn't do too bad. We know Trubisky is going to be back. Yes, they're a little anemic on the play calling, but they make things interesting and they run the ball well.
Yes.
Especially when they attack the edges and the trick plays. I'm going to stick with Chicago until I see something more out of the other two.
Kendall?
I'm going to have to go ahead and give it to Green Bay.
Aaron
Rodgers ain't going to
go that route.
You got to give it to him. He's been in the league over 10 years now. And he's old school for sure, but what he's working with now is new school. You got those newbies coming in now. He's got to adjust to. He doesn't want to, but he's going to have to do it. They haven't worked out the kinks yet, but sooner or later they're going to make it happen. They're number one in the division right now. I'll go ahead and ride with them. I do agree with John.
It is a two-way tie. It's Packers and Bears in the lead. And Lions are very close back
Bears do have a very good defense this year.
So the Detroit Lions are there.
That was the reason why I can't give it to the Lions, because you tied Arizona.
Well, that was a fluke. If you saw that game, Arizona came from behind in the last quarter. It was almost like the defense, the defense pretty much relaxed, like, oh, we got this. I mean, all of a sudden they got to hit them out.
I'm saying, but if you don't have that killer instinct to put these nothing ass scrub teams down so you can get the definitive win, then what's the point of you even being on?
If you haven't noticed, that got them because very next day and then the very next week they tore one into the Chargers, and that was one that the Chargers could have won.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I like what I see out of Detroit, but and when it comes down to it, they can score points. The other two are struggling. So if it comes down to the three, Detroit's definitely got the edge.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on Chicago just yet. We're going to see how the season plays out.
I just honestly believe the last point I'm going to make on is that I think their defense will nullify Detroit's offense. That's why I give it to them over Detroit.
And granted, Khalil Mack, hands down.
Him and that other guy. What's the other guy name? The other defensive end. Oh no, the linebacker Trevathan. Trevathan actually showed up last week. I hadn't seen anything from him in the first two, 3 games. All of a sudden, he's all over the place doing all kinds of stuff. Like, if they play like that for the rest of the season, don't get hurt, don't get tired. It's theirs to lose.
All right. Next up, the NFC South, one of my favorites. Drew Brees Saints. Drew Brees is out until his thumb gets healed.
It's the easiest one to pick. This is by far the easiest one to pick.
This one to me is actually tough. Is a tough one, and the reason I'm going to say it's a tough one.
Don't say Tampa Bay.
This week the Saints have proven that their defense has come to play when they need to. We still need to see more of them offensively, especially when Brees is out.
Right.
They've got some tough competition coming up. Let me take a look real quick.
When is their bye week?
Their bye week is week 9.
Oh, shoot. No.
So right now, week 5, they got Tampa Bay, which is going to be a tough one for them. I have to say this is
in Tampa.
No, it's in New Orleans, but Tampa Bay doesn't matter. They went on the road and beat Rams.
The Rams. Remember the
55-40.
Yeah, I did say Jameis Winston finally showed
but
up.
outside of
said that.
But outside of this week, which is week 5, Tampa Bay, they go to Jacksonville, they go to Chicago. They can beat Jacksonville because they got a better defense and a better offense. Chicago will be the test because of the struggling offense, defenses will prevail. Yeah. That one's going to be a tough one for them. And then they have Arizona before their bye week. So if they can get Tampa Bay or Chicago, they'll still stay on pace before the bye week. But they're going to need to get one or both. And then, of course, Jacksonville, I think, is a gimme.
I can't say that, but the way the Jacksonville defense is playing, I don't know. I don't think I can write them out.
No, that's true, and it is in Jacksonville.
They're actually running against one offensive team and then 2 defensive teams.
I just don't think that Minshew's got enough.
But Bridgewater is obviously still getting back into football. Whereas he's
he's going to be a little rocky, but he's definitely getting into his element though.
That is a telltale sign. It depends on which Bridgewater shows up.
Outside of that, I do like what I've been seeing out of Tampa Bay, and you guys have to admit, look, Tampa Bay, everybody didn't even realize what was going on, but this is the first year Bruce Arians is the head coach.
Yeah,
we
talked about this.
They have Todd Bowles as the defensive coordinator. Look, I don't know. This is a stacked coaching team right here. Bruce Arians is known for working with quarterbacks like Ben Roethlisberger,
Brian
Leftwich,
who was the offensive coordinator, or the quarterbacks coach.
Quarterbacks coach.
Sorry, quarterbacks.
The Andrew Luck, and Carson Palmer down in Arizona. So I mean, I look at this team, And even though I am not a Jameis Winston fan at all,
I was going to use that one. I was going to use that one.
I have not seen anything from him in the previous seasons that proved to me that he was a quarterback. And when I saw the first game of the season against San Francisco, 3 interceptions, 2 were pick sixes. I'm like, this kid's trash. I mean, it is, and I don't like to use that word, especially when you're talking about an NFL quarterback. I mean, they've got there, so they're definitely not trash. But I can tell you one thing: Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles, they have this team playing, and if there's a potential upset, that would be them. I like Carolina's defense,
but without Cam Newton.
But without Cam, well, actually, even though
what's his name?
Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen.
He's won the past 2 games.
Rightfully so, but he's still new. He's still a rookie. I don't give them much credence.
I don't.
And even with that
see,
defense, that's asking a lot out of him. But not going.
You're asking a lot.
The running game, McCaffrey.
Right. But if the defense is holding every team that they play to 10 points, all he has to score is 16, which he has.
Okay, that might be good for everybody else in the league, but you're looking at Drew Brees and the Saints,
Brees and company. Come on,
or Tampa Bay, who just put up 55 on.
Drew Brees and them were just.
And Tampa Bay. That's okay.
The Saints were just held to 16.
Okay, no, they held to 12.
12.
But that Drew Brees wasn't playing.
But Drew Brees
doesn't matter.
Now you finna go up again.
That doesn't prove your point.
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. I'm thinking if Drew Brees is playing, because we don't know what that thumb's gonna look like. They predicted.
Man, they're gonna rehab the crap out of that.
They predicted 6 weeks, but you know, like
it could be sooner. It could be earlier.
If you're trying to,
it could be sooner. It could be later.
If you're trying to force an injury to heal, you're most likely going to re-injure.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm not talking about the injury though. But you talk about Tampa Bay putting up 55 points against the Rams. The Rams. It's a shootout, but that means they have the firepower to get anybody, right?
True.
Right?
Well, they definitely had enough pace to go pace
to go back and forth with the Rams. That means they could remember that game with the Rams and the
was like Kansas City, right?
That went back and forth. They broke that record.
Yeah.
So therefore, you cannot sit here and say that their defense can stop everybody.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that they can stop everybody. I said they can hold them down enough to where the offense can score points. That's what I'm saying.
From what I've seen from these teams in the AFC South, and remember, I even refrained from making commentary because back then I was looking at it as like I even said to myself, this could be wide open because one, I didn't expect the Falcons to drop to 1-3, and Carolina Panthers, even with Kyle Allen, looks good. So I have to admit, for me, I like New Orleans. It's theirs to lose. Mm-hmm. Carolina could slide in, but that means that Tampa Bay would have to take a step back.
The Falcons could get hot.
I know. Falcons, from what I've seen from them.
But they've done it before when they went down and then came up.
Their defense outside the Atlanta Falcons are the Pittsburgh Steelers of last year and the year before. They play up to the talent.
And they play down.
And they play down.
Shit, you just decided half the AFC South.
And
oh, wow.
That's Carolina, too.
So
I'll throw Carolina in there with you.
Well, if Cam Newton was the lead, I would say yes.
But even Cam Newton, there were games where, like, the talent on the other team was just subpar, and he played down to that level. And like he's the same way, too.
And that's what I'm seeing. And now, granted, we still have 13 weeks left, so this could change. But that's what I'm seeing.
I'm gonna agree with him. The Saints to lose. It's Tampa Bay's to take.
I'm going with Tampa Bay because out of all the teams, they have better coaching. I don't mean necessarily head coaching.
Spoken like a true Patriot.
No. On all three levels.
Special teams,
head coach, OC, defensive coordinator, special teams. The whole team got coaching.
They've got
New Orleans Saints only has Sean Payton. That's it. That's it.
Oh, and they got Wade Phillips, don't they?
No,
Wade Phillips in
he's the Rams.
The one that used to be in New Orleans, and I don't know if he still is, was the Ryan.
Rex Ryan.
No, he's gone.
No, it wasn't Rex. It was
his brother, Rob Ryan. He's gone. He's been gone.
Okay. Yeah, Rob been gone for a long time.
Yeah, he's been. I can't. So I don't even know who the.
Because I remember that Rob was there when they had that they couldn't stop nobody.
All right,
the Saints.
We're definitely drifting here.
My probability, gentlemen, in this division is still wide open. Too early to say. All 4 teams, of course, have been in the Super Bowl, and we're talking in the last 5 years.
Tampa Bay had.
Tampa Bay and Nords have not.
They've been to the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl, but they.
Now the Saints almost made the Super Bowl because of but it was the Rams.
The Rams, they got cheated out of that one. I'm sorry.
But,
they are our Super Bowl.
But Tampa Bay has not been to the Super Bowl in a while. Matter of fact, it wasn't that long ago that they were 5 and 11.
Yeah.
So next on topic, of course, NFC West, the last of our division topics.
This is the one that's interesting.
I'll start.
This one is really interesting. Yes.
San Francisco 49ers. Home.
And I have to admit, I like what I see out of San Francisco. The very first game of theirs that I watched, unfortunately, was not the Tampa Bay one. Mm-hmm. It was the Cincinnati one. And then I watched the Tampa Bay, and they did the exact same thing. That defense on San Francisco plays with such intensity and such purpose. I don't think I've seen that much energy on a defense in a while. And that's why they got the 3 picks off of Winston. Well, the pressure and good positioning.
But I think that has a lot to do with you put their defense energy wise with Chicago's defense energy wise. It's almost the exact same.
It is. It almost is. I'll give you that. And but they came out with that great huge win over Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And it was because of turnovers. When you have that many turnovers and you capitalize and score on those turnovers, it's nearly impossible to overcome that. And that's why Tampa Bay did not win that game.
Who was it? Was it the Monday night game or the Sunday night game where they got a turnover, kicked the field goal, got a turnover, scored a touchdown, got a turnover, scored a touchdown, got a turnover. I'm like, what? The first half, it's the team turned the ball over and the other team scored. That's what you're supposed to do.
Give to get.
I don't know. I can't
remember which game it was, but it was one game where every time they got a turnover, they scored points off the turnover.
Yeah, and it was probably one of the San Francisco games, but and then of course the Cincinnati game, it was very similar. I think they had a turnover or two, but it wasn't.
Pittsburgh Cincinnati game is the one I'm talking about. Pittsburgh got the turnover, they scored points off of them. They weren't talking about every time. It's
on Monday.
On Monday, they scored off of every.
Because
they scored
honestly,
some kind of points off of every turnover.
That almost sounded like the Pittsburgh New England game.
It almost did. So, it was almost the same.
But no, if you take a look at San Francisco, Tampa Bay decisive, and it was in Tampa Bay. Then they went on the road to Cincinnati. Beat them. Home, Pittsburgh. Close game. No turnovers, surprisingly enough. But they won 24-20. Now they're coming off their bye week. They're going into Cleveland. So they're the only team that we're looking at right now that's only that only has 3 wins.
Yeah, and they're rested.
Right. They're rested. They're well rested. They better come out, up and show out.
My thing about it is like this is another one that is too early to tell, but I like what I see coming out of San Francisco. So up until week 9, I may change. It depends on what happens. But right now, I have to say it's San Francisco's to lose.
I can understand that.
I haven't seen the Rams play. The Rams are not dominant. The Rams are not dominant like
San Francisco. I'm a Niner fan till the day I die. Now Seahawks.
He's biased. I'm not.
Seahawks. Mr. Russell's been doing he's been on his A game. He's kind of been a little shaky here and there, but Rams. We all know what they did last season.
Yeah.
Okay. Cardinals. I'm Cardinals. They need to get it together.
There's nothing to get together down there except get out there and show me what y'all got to try to make a team next year. Yeah. Because I'm being honest with you, that's what that is.
If you take a look at the stats, Kyle Murphy has been getting sacked. He is right now. Week 4, if I'm not mistaken, double checking it, it's like 20 sacks on the season already.
Yeah. He's still behind Watson. I'm sorry. He's still behind Watson. But
sadly, that's probably true.
But the reason I say is there because Seattle and Los Angeles are not playing dominant football like they usually. And San Francisco's defense is playing dominant football. That's why I give it to them.
The reason why those two teams are not playing dominant football, they lost key pieces, right? So now they're just playing with what they got left. The 49ers, I will say in the long haul, I probably see them as 9-6. Wow. I think Seahawks are going to take the division. It's the Rams to lose because I think the Rams, if you don't startle them, then they got the game.
Well,
the problem is,
like I said that.
So I must
Tampa
Bay must have starved the shit out of
I'll tell you
us.
what, they're going to be wild going into Seattle this week. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like if Jared, like Jared Goff, my only issue with Jared Goff and what's his name?
Sean McVay.
Sean McVay. The problem is Sean McVay doesn't know that when his quarterback is startled, he doesn't know play calling to get him out of it.
It doesn't help that your quarterback is almost the same age as you though.
but what I'm saying is that when Jared Goff is startled, the game's gone. He's done. He's done. You need to switch him out with somebody else. He's done. And Sean McVay doesn't have the play calling to get him out of that. Like, hey, let me get his confidence back. Once his confidence is broken, that's why teams blitz. What was the last game they played? The Cleveland.
Yeah. Yep.
Blitzed and blitzed and blitzed and blitzed.
And Cleveland almost won that game.
And Cleveland almost won that game. And he was just started. Like, you could tell. He was like, where they're coming from? And he threw it. And I think what it is with the Rams, they have the coaching staff, Wade Phillip defense, and Sean McVay's offense. The potential is there. So the potentially they have it, but I only see the Seahawks because the Seahawks have won 2 championships, and they still have Russell Wilson. They still have Pete Carroll,
and they picked up Jadeveon Clowney.
And the defense is playing.
But to be honest, I mean they needed a linebacker or a cornerback to help solidify that secondary.
Yeah.
Right. Don't get me wrong.
Did they get one? But did they get one?
I don't know. I don't think
they
so.
didn't. That's why they got Jadeveon Clowney.
So
now they got the linebackers coming in. The front 7 has always been solid.
Yeah.
So because the Legion of Boom is no longer there, I got to substitute for something else.
They have one guy still there. Is it
Cam Chancellor?
Wagner?
Wagner's a linebacker.
No, yeah. But the Legion of Boom was not the defensive back. The Legion of Boom was the whole defense.
No, the Legion of Boom
was
it was a whole defense. It was the backs and the linebackers. That's what it was.
It was that secondary.
It was the secondary. And linebackers play in the secondary, so they were part of it also. So, Wagner was one of the leaders of the Legion of Boom. Claiborne, what's his name? Bennett. The long-haired Richardson and the other one on the end.
Cliff
Avery. But the linebackers were the ones that were the Wagner.
Well, because they were the ones that were stopping the run.
That's why they called it. But it was all those 7. It wasn't just all. It wasn't 11, but it wasn't the 4 either.
The Legion of Boom was always the defensive.
The Legion of Boom was the hitters, but it wasn't called Boom because they knocked down passes. Chuck, come on,
gosh, the defensive backs.
Let me stop.
All right.
Let's keep it
all right. So now, yes, I have to admit, the Rams are not playing the way they need to be playing. They are definitely not the same Rams from last year.
Shit.
And they had to come from behind to even make that 55-40 game.
Yeah.
I mean, look, this is a wake-up call from them, and I'm looking to see how they respond. Because as we've agreed, I think it's Rams to lose.
Who's next on
Seattle?
Who's next on their
Rams?
It is San Francisco.
They're going to Seattle.
Seattle.
Seattle and then San Francisco.
Remember what you said earlier about when you start playing a meat of your division? They're getting in the meat of their division.
And then of course Atlanta. I'm going to give them credit for that. Atlanta and Cincinnati going into their bye week. But I mean, this next 2 games, that's going to tell a lot of where Rams are mentally and physically.
Did they bounce back from what you were talking about?
So I mean, this is it.
13-0 last season.
The only reason I disagree with what you're saying from last year, that's the same Rams from last year. Because when Jared Goff got pressured last year, he did the exact same thing. Deer headlights.
Well, if that's the case,
and Super Bowl proved the deer headlights. When Bill Belichick switched up that defense, he was like, "Wait, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is."
As soon as Belichick brought pressure,
I don't know what this is.
and they weren't getting anything on the running game, and that's going to be a key too. I think they need to get Todd Gurley more involved.
They haven't even been handed. I think he had 12 carries.
Yeah.